next work session is Parks and Recreation Annual Update. Mr. Luther.
Good afternoon, Mr. Luther. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. County Administrator. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to give an update. I've been here now, I think, 9 months, and I want to begin by thanking this board and Dr. Casey for all the support everybody has given me, and mostly to a wonderful staff that we have that I think does some really special things for this community. I'd like to begin. This is sort of a snapshot slide. I think it's important to understand, who we are and how we got to where we are. And what I would say outside of the bullet points is that the definition of who we are is really a reflection of the community and a long-standing relationship and conversations with the community to really hear and embody what the community wants in their park system, because parks are not something that is mandated. It's something that the community chooses to do. And so we have very much an obligation and a trust in the conversations we have. And we can't do it without a lot of help and working with partners and friends to do what it is we do. I'm going to transition and speak real briefly on the project side. And I'd like to, this slide highlights some locations that are our large capital projects, but I think it's important to note that if you look at our total current project portfolio, we are currently funded at $52 million in active projects spread over 43 individual projects across the county. That doesn't reflect, of course, what the voters told us in terms of supporting the additional improvements coming forward with the bond back in November. That's an additional $38.2 million. And all told, if you look at in the approved CIP, over a 5-year spread, we are approved for over $105 million in capital. And I think my dad once told me, you have all the time there is, it's up to you with what you do with it. And I think that the community is expressing a strong desire. We're in a very much a generational moment to really expand and build the park system based on what the community values and wants to see. And with that being said, I'm gonna dive into a couple of areas. I've tried to group the types of projects we're working on by categories. We have a number of new parks that are actively in the pipeline. All of these are funded. We have, going from top left clockwise, we have Cogbill Road Park, which is funded, scheduled to open fall 2024. Harrogate Park is, top left is Harrogate, Cogbill is bottom left, so starting left to right from Cogbill. Harrogate is also funded. This is actually the third phase of that park, scheduled to open spring of 2024. We have Winter Park, and then the slide underneath it is one of our conservation areas that was approved by voters on the bond referendum, and collectively they represent essentially penetration into opening up a number of acres that the county has acquired over the years and making them open and available to the public. Again, taking resources we have and listening to the public and the community about making these sites more accessible for the public to use and enjoy. And then finally, on the right, as part of the bond portfolio, is a brand new park at the mouth of Falling Creek where it empties into the James River. That's a collaboration of a lot of efforts, including some funding from Dominion Energy to build the road, but most importantly, this park itself becomes a new community-level park, opening up the James River in this area along the Route 1 corridor for public enjoyment. We also have in the works a lot of new enhancements to existing parks. These again are all funded. The top or the left slide there is an image of what was approved on the bond for $10 million at Horner to build a competition level softball complex, but already in the works at Horner, which has been open for many, many years now. We're bringing water to the site. We have all the existing fields. The irrigation is ready to be tapped when that water line is complete. And so basically Horner is getting a brand new focus to serve that rapidly growing part of the western part of the county, all of which will come together over the next 2 years. But the new irrigation restroom projects, all of those will open up in this coming fall of 23. The bond project, we're anticipating the softball component to open in fall of 2025. The slide on the right, or the image on the right, is at River City. I'm going to speak a little more to River City, but basically with the approval of the referendum, River City is going to see 2 years of seamless activity out there that really brings to fruition the image or the vision of what that park and property represents to this community. Right now, we're planning to basically finish everything and have a grand reopening of everything that's in the works over there with the 2026 Jefferson Cup. So that would be early spring of 2026. The other thing we've heard is, as we've looked at our parks, is the community expects different things out of their parks. You've seen, new parks, new additions, but within our existing parks, we've over these years in working with the community, having the opportunity to bring some new features and some new directions into the park. Not all of them are necessarily new in the industry, but I think they do reflect, again, that public trust in placing conversations about using our parks more effectively for a wider range of individuals. So you see up there in the top left, we've just completed some adult fitness activity centers in our 3 park locations. That's an ARPA-funded project. Pickleball, I don't think needs a whole lot of elaboration, but we have definitely done many. We're in the process of converting courts and supporting that as a tremendous desire for the community. On the right side of the slide, Dr. Casey, I know, spoke to it in his State of the County address, a partnership working with the Central Virginia Cricket Association. So we have a brand new park coming at Beulah that'll open in fall of 2024. And one of the centerpieces of that park will be basically the nicest cricket pitch in Central Virginia and really the state of Virginia for the cricket players. Very interesting sport. I've learned a lot about it over the years, and they are just absolutely thrilled to have this partnership to proceed to this new ground for them. The images you see of the play equipment reflect an initiative we've put in place because of some feedback we had from the community, and we're looking to continue this, but it's really a focus to take the traditional playground and be much more intentional about how we build playgrounds that are inclusive. And by inclusive, it's not just physical access, but more importantly, it's the opportunity for children, for adults of all abilities and ages to have the opportunity to socialize together. So if you're restricted to a wheelchair, or you have some mobility assistance, you still can play and socialize and enjoy with a wide range of other individuals. So there's a real focus and intentionality behind the social aspect of that. In the middle is really a centerpiece of that initiative, and that is building from scratch at River City as part of that bond authorization, what will become a new community level park. So River City will transition from just a sports complex into a true community park. And I think it will be built around, again, that inclusive play model, a destination playground featuring some water features, spray grounds. I think what's really, really important to remember about River City, that location is within 20 minutes of over 80% of the county's population. 66,000 people live within 12 miles, and 12,000 people currently live within 1 mile. And we all know rooftops are growing as we speak. So that park just has tremendous opportunity, not just to the sports tourism portfolio that I'll speak to, but as well as just serving the community. Then dog parks, we've got continuation. We're looking at Horner as a possible opportunity. Disc golf is sort of an emerging sport. We are working collaboratively with a young man who's advocating for that within the school system and some partners within the disc golf community. And then even down at Harrogate, we had the opportunity to repurpose some old basketball courts, and we're going to bring shuffleboard and bocce ball down there. So again, conversations with the community about parks being different than what they might have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. And with that, I'll transition into some really exciting things about new directions we're heading on the built environment side for us. We certainly are very excited. Along with Beulah Park, we have the opportunity to occupy a brand-new recreation center. So that Beulah, the repurposed Beulah Elementary School, is under renovation now. General Services and the contractor have done a great job. Right now, we're targeting spring. We are anticipating getting invitations out to you and in the community for a late April ribbon cutting. But that center has the opportunity to be really transformative for that community. It's certainly transformative for us because it allows us as a corporate body to be together more so than we have been in a long time. And it has a public-facing component. The recreation center component alone is greater in one space than all of 3 of our existing recreation centers combined. So again, a generational opportunity for us to move forward. The bottom image on the left is really a reflection of conversations with the community about tapping an underutilized asset in the James River and having the opportunity to expand resources that we currently maintain and the potential to bring in some other partners to expand that even greater. That's a conceptual image of one of the improvements at Dutch Gap that's being funded through the Dominion Energy consent order. But we have 3 projects that Dominion is funding in and around Dutch Gap, including as a 4th through CDOT the construction of a brand new bridge over to Henricus. And the culmination of all that makes possible the image on the right, which is the approved on the bond, the ability to provide a much better waterfront access on the tidal James. That's an early concept sketch. You can see the proposed Dominion Energy constructed road up in the top, but all coming together to being said that we now have the opportunity to create destination level access for recreational enjoyment of the lower James. And then I don't have an image, but I did want to mention that we had the opportunity to clip the ribbon back in the summer on a brand new drone park in Chester, and I think that's just, again, a reflection of creative partnerships, emerging technologies, and listening to where we need to be rather than resting on where we are in the moment. And that park, that was an eye-opener for me. I had never seen a competitive drone flown before, so it was a really affirming experience to see the ability to support the community's vision for something that we would not have normally found. Did I lose my feed? There we go. I'm going to transition now along the theme of our construction projects to give a little bit of a sidebar to discuss how we as a department are intricately involved in a larger conversation with improving connectivity, pedestrian and bike connectivity within the county. We work very collaboratively with some key strategic partners, both within the county and CDOT in planning, as well as externally. And I'm going to launch the conversation on connectivity by talking about what we're doing within our own park complement to improve walking and trail access. So we now, again, from the conversations with the community and hearing very clearly that walking and passive activity is incredibly important to our park experience. So we are much more intentional about incorporating those kinds of features into planned renovations and planned growth for our park system. So all told, within those projects that I tried to highlight before, we have over 12 miles of new trail within our park system that's currently in the pipeline. Those images up there, again, going from top left, that's a conceptual image of what some of the new trail at the Falling Creek Park would look like. It's boardwalk because it's going to have to go from river level up to 90-foot bluffs. The center image is an example of some connectivity opportunities that we have within the neighborhood, and that's bringing Loch Bramer and some of the other neighborhoods off of that part of 360 and being able to provide direct connectivity into Rockwood Park. Top right, again, a reflection, happens to be the new pedestrian access that will cross over to Dutch Gap from Coyote Drive, but again, as part of that Dominion project to improve access to that existing resource. The bottom right is the Relic River Trail, which is, again, is a Dominion Energy project. And then, Conifer Road Park is on the bottom left. Now, we, again, as I said, the connectivity for the county is really a county initiative, and we have, we are ingrained beyond just our park system and working collaboratively. So a lot of the emphasis on community connections, certainly parks are a destination and can be a means of conveyance, but CDOT has really worked with us to take the lead. Up there you can see the Stratton Park connector, which was a CDOT-led project. It's on the top left. There's an image just to the right of the Salem Church connector, which connects the Government Center to Salem Church Elementary School and Middle School and beyond. Again, a CDOT effort. Through planning, through ordinance and the development review process, we, as a county, have been working collaboratively to improve pedestrian-friendly development. There's some images up there of private developments that have brought bike and pedestrian facilities to fruition in the county. With CDOT, there's also an emphasis, you see the crosswalk there, on looking at connection to schools and being much more intentional about providing good connectivity to the schools that are really, community features that people want to access within their own neighborhoods. The bottom right is one that we just did this summer that was a good example of us, or we in parks, kind of taking our cue from the initiatives that planning and CDOT have done. And we looked internally at Rockwood Park and did our own lane diet in the loop road there. A lot of people walk regularly in Rockwood. It hasn't always been safe with them walking on the roadway with traffic. So we changed the road configuration to a one-way and took the extra lane width and turned it into a striped bike lane, and that has been very well received by the public. All told, right now, with our partners in CDOT and planning, there are, in fiscal 22 current year, CDOT has 5 trail projects, 3 bikeway projects, and 32 sidewalk projects that are in the pipeline. And planning, with the help of private development, has roughly 15 miles of alternative transportation facilities as part of the development review process. I'm going to leave this slide. I won't leave Pocahontas. I will mention it. I'm going to come back to Pocahontas State Park. I think it's important to note that as a tremendous resource for the county, Pocahontas represents 90 miles of additional public use, or public access multi-use trail, and I'm going to speak a little more to that in a minute. Before I transition there, I'm going to talk about some of the major regional efforts. We have we're fortunate here in Chesterfield to be at the crossroads of 2 regional level initiatives to build long distance alternative transportation corridors. Of course, going north to south, you have the Fall Line Trail, which is almost 44 miles connecting Petersburg with Ashland. There's 18 miles in the county, of which 80% are currently funded. And then going in the bottom along the Appomattox River, we have an east-west connection of 25 miles, 12 of which are in Chesterfield proper. And Ettrick sits right at the crossroads of these 2 major regional bike ped features. And we have been working with a number of collaborative partners, obviously, to bring these in the process from planning to fruition as we progress. And I would mention specifically, of course, the Friends of the Lower Appomattox River, VDOT, and soon-to-be sports backers. I think you all saw a notification that they've received some grant funding to do some enhancement planning around the Fall Line Trail. So there's a lot of regional interest in bringing these together. But at a more local level for us, or immediate impact level for us, I'll speak specifically in Chesterfield. That bottom right image or graphic shows the opportunity we've taken. The star, again, represents where the Fall Line Trail and the Appomattox River Trail connect in Ettrick. And thanks to the leadership of the board and some community trust, We just recently closed there on the eastern edge on the Greenwood property, which was a collaborative partnership with the Greenwood family, Mr. Greenwood and the Capital Region Land Conservancy. And then to the western edge, Mr. Radcliffe. We have his property, and that will close possibly as soon as Friday, definitely by Monday. And when I speak to relationships there, those individuals, those private ownerships have really expressed a desire that their properties be preserved by the county in perpetuity for the value they bring to future generations. And I think, again, that speaks to the level of trust that has been placed in us or entrusted with us in making these partnerships really fulfill expectations for the greater community. I also want to highlight along the Fall Line Trail, again, some opportunities that we have at a more community level, community focus level within here in Chesterfield, to leverage what's happening at a regional level to make more impact to the immediate communities that are adjacent. You have up in the top left on your image the opportunity with the Fall Line Trail to really bring together a lot of powerful storylines related to the Falling Creek corridor, the Falling Creek Park, to which I spoke earlier, all coming together as really a node, a very important community node in that Route 1 corridor along the Fall Line Trail. A little further down on the bottom left, you see a conceptual image. We're actively working on providing a neighborhood connection from the new Winchester Green development directly into Bensley Park. So again, using our park system, our collaboration with a private developer, nonprofit developer, CDOT, to fulfill a vision of better and more interconnected neighborhoods for all the value that brings. And then finally, to the right, the larger image is an opportunity. It's actually on your consent agenda tonight as a land acquisition. But this is a location for a new fire station. But because of the property configuration, the county now has the opportunity to do more than just a fire station. We have the opportunity, again, along that alignment of the Fall Line Trail on the old Seaboard Atlantic rail line, the opportunity to bring connectivity nodes. So again, public-private partnerships within the community to bring to fruition something that's much greater than the sum of its individual parts. I'm going to transition real quickly. We're not done yet. We've got a lot in the works to continue to plan. We have, again, obligations to keep those conversations alive and vibrant with the community as we look forward. Just a couple of highlights to the left and far right on those slides. We're actively working at a community level with some creative alternatives from down in the Ettrick and Matoaka communities about a reuse of a former elementary school that's a little different and a little more driven by community possibilities. And then on the left, to bring to fruition a vision from the Ettrick community, a vision for a more village town center type park as part of the campus at the new Ettrick Elementary School. And then in the center, I just want to, again, leave in everyone's mind that we definitely recognize and receive the message from the community, the importance of Pocahontas State Park. As I said, Pocahontas is actually 90 miles of trail. It's the largest state park by acreage and one of the most highly visited state parks. It's a wonderful resource. And so there's two things we're doing now. Sports Backers has also received grant funding to pursue a connectivity and enhancement study to figure out how to leverage Pocahontas more intentionally for regional access through biking and walking, and to create it or capitalize more on that facility or that park as a destination resource. So we're going to be working with them over the coming months and years on putting that vision to paper. As well as at a staff level, we're going to sit down with the actual staff at Pocahontas coming up in the winter after the first of the year and begin some discussions within aligned program areas in nature, cooperative extension, outdoors, to see what we can do to make better use of that resource through our own efforts here at a staff level. And then real quickly, we also have an update coming to our comprehensive park master plan. That's done in partnership with VCU Wilder School of Government, that will be sending out a park user survey that'll go out to the community the first of the year, so we can start to get additional feedback on what we need to be doing and how we need to be approaching it. We also will bring forward soon an ADA assessment contract that will allow us again to focus on being more purposeful and intentional on how we provide inclusive access and accessible access to all of our facilities. And then finally, we also, by the first quarter of next calendar year, will go out with an RFQ to solicit services to support a facility condition assessment that will basically be able to allow us to go through our system comprehensively by attribute and set baselines and figure out ways that we can be more purposeful and more efficient in how we do spend all those capital dollars that I talked about earlier. I'm going to talk briefly about operations, and when I say maintaining our credibility, I mean that very literally. Everything we do as a park system depends on the level of service we provide, and the details make a big difference. Quality matters to the public. Nobody wants to have a poor experience. And so we are very purposeful and intentional in doing our very best there. And the support we get has been tremendous. Out of that $52 million in capital dollars that I mentioned, there's a little over $5.4 million that is what we call major maintenance. Those are the things that allow what you see in those slide or images up there. Those are the things that allow us to build or replace a picnic pavilion that's showing its age, or to replace fencing and backstops, to replenish artificial turf infill, things like that. I mean, we have an obligation to maintain our system. That stewardship obligation is ongoing. And then at an operational level, just some quick numbers. We have 240 fields, athletic fields. 50% of those are on our partnership with the school grounds. And when it's all said and done on an annual basis, our staff are mowing over 12,000 acres of athletic fields, and all told about 62,000 acres of general grass and grounds maintenance. And we have to do that. Again, we want our parks to present themselves well to the community at all times. The relationship we have with schools, just as a takeaway, I found this number astounding. In our effort with schools, we spread about 5,000 cubic yards of mulch, mostly between March and beginning of school. That's a combination of general ground mulch, landscape mulch, as well as playground mulch. That's about 500 20-ton dump truck loads of mulch that we provide to the schools over that period of time. So again, we focus on quality because it makes a difference to the community in what they experience at our parks. Real quickly, I'm going to transition over to how we partner, and particularly in sports tourism. You all have heard this before. I just wanted to highlight with some great partners we have. The top left is a volleyball event that was held at largely back in May. It's a ACPL Grand Prix of Volleyball. About 90 teams participated at the Stonebridge facility. Top right, we had through the partnership with Swim RVA, they hosted the U.S. Masters National Championships at their facility. About 1,000 swimmers from all over the country. I'll mention a highlight that a gentleman by the name of Mr. Willard Lamb set a world record for the 1,500 meter freestyle for the 100 to 104-year-old age group. So. And then on the bottom right, bottom level of slides, again, a continuation of our more bread and butter efforts to expand what we all know and are familiar with. We hosted Bird Athletic Complex in Daniel Park, was the host site of the USA Softball Virginia State Championship. We had a big lacrosse tournament at River City this summer from girls lacrosse, the Capital Cup. And then the image up there is not current to Thanksgiving, but we've had a long-time relationship with the Shooting Stars field hockey tournament. They came back for their 6th year this Thanksgiving with over 250 teams, and they were able to finish on a not-so-pleasant Sunday because of the turf fields.
I was out there. It was a lot of rain, it was cold, and there was a lot of parents yelling. But anyway, we appreciate y'all getting that going.
Sports tourism, you've seen, this slide is important to me, again, when we think about partnerships and the work we've done collaboratively. I know you all have received the Genito Small Area Plan and approved it. We're working on all those other regional planning efforts, but basically, to grow, you can see the numbers up there, and we're getting close to being maxed out at capacity within our current complement. I'll mention that we projected that the new 4 fields that will be added with the approval of the bond referendum at River City, well, it should allow us to grow conservatively to about 5 new tournaments. That's probably conservatively a $15 million economic impact lift. But one of the more important things you see in that little breakout is that on the private sector, when we generate these opportunities, there's opportunity on the market side to capture more of the spending locally here in the county. So the efforts collaboratively within the development community and the EDA, I guess, are closely partnered with what we're able to provide in the way of facilities and bringing these attractions. The other thing I'll say again to the maintenance effort is quality does matter, and we are working very hard to maintain that level of service to distinguish ourselves in what is a very competitive marketplace. Also with sports, just real quickly at the local level, we're looking to expand the partnerships we have. We have within our co-sponsored realm, we sponsor 61 groups already. That's over 30,000 local participants in sports, mostly in the youth realm. And we're looking to strengthen those relationships with groups that are very, very familiar to you all, as well as expand partnerships with the YMCA, the Strikers, the Kickers, groups like that, because again, they provide the product, we provide the facility, and it's a great partnership arrangement. Within the realm of programming, the community really has come to us to expect really exciting and engaging community programs. So this summer, I'm happy to report we were able to return to a more normal summer camp experience. The numbers, 15 camps, 56 sessions, just under 1,000 campers, 12,000 meals that were served, free and reduced lunch meals. But I think more pride for our staff, we had a great partnership this year with the Police Athletic League. And the image on the right, that gentleman is Officer Hal McDonough. He became quite a little minor celebrity within the program. That's one of our program snakes from Rockwood Nature Center. But again, the kids, the relationship, you can see the joy in the face there, and the quality of experience just speaks volumes, and that's what we want to achieve in our partnerships. We have an obligation to keep the community healthy and well-informed. I would say there that our extension side of the house really takes the lead there. The center slide is Ms. Sarah Gregory. I think you all did recognize her as a volunteer emerita. She just was awarded the National 4-H Volunteer Hall of Fame. But she embodies, I think, more so what Extension's able to do. They had almost 19,000 hours of volunteer service, and they were, through those volunteers, able to provide programs like the farmers market that you see. That was 15,000 visitors for the season. And then on the right, they initiated with their volunteers this year Plant a Row for the Hungry initiative, and they were able to provide over 5,000 meals for the greater Richmond area. We have an inclusive focus at the program level too, and working with the community. Some of our key partners, we had the opportunity to grow some real tremendous programs with Sportable. That's the kayaking program in the top left. We also support a very robust inclusive archery program. It's a unique one of its kind in the country with that partnership. We did a community cup event with some additional features over at River City with our partners in the public safety area. And then we also created a Youth Unity Day initiative that we're looking to hopefully grow it in the future. That was a great event, and we'd like to be able to capture a little more continued involvement from our young people to include potentially some representation on our park commission. We also have an obligation and are very entrenched with many partners in preserving our community. Henricus really needs no explanation, but I will mention that this year they were able to get back to a more normal program level. They have served over 3,500 school-age children with their programming. But we work across the board. As you all know, the efforts in history here are very collaborative, and we have the Chesterfield Historical Society of Virginia and the African American Subcommittee that sponsored an event out at the Pleasant View Schoolhouse this fall. We had the annual Midlothian Mines Day that's in concert with the Midlothian Village Festival. The Chesterfield Historical Society does the annual Veterans Day event. We have the Ironworks Foundation that does their annual day. So we're spread across our complement of facilities to work with our partners to really bring life and meaning to those facilities. And then I'm going to wrap up by talking about one thing that we know how to do is throw a good party, and working with the community and partnering with our many partners to celebrate this community and provide opportunities. So we obviously have had a long-standing relationship with the fair to make use of the property over there. This year they had a good weather week and 5,000 attendees. We are very proud of our partnership with our public safety partners to have the National Night Out initiative we hosted at our 3 recreation center locations events. It was a great success. We did, as Dr. Casey again mentioned, had a really successful first run of the concert series out at River City, and are looking to continue that going forward. And the other slide is a Hops in the Park event that was just this fall with Henricus out at the Henricus Foundation. All told, we just have had a tremendous amount of effort going into making good community use of the resources that are under our stewardship. And I'd close out on our partners I would be remiss if I didn't recognize and thank the public safety side of that partnership, because all of these events have a lot of behind the scenes work by a lot of individuals to make sure that the public is safe and has a good experience. And the fact that you don't see a lot of public safety activity going on day of the event represents a lot of hard work and dedication to make that a reality. So I appreciate everybody's time. That's a large span of material to cover. Again, I'd like to thank this board for your support for what we do, and I'll be happy to try and answer any questions you might have.
I doubt anybody has any questions after that very comprehensive report, but if you do, this is your time, board members. Mr. Engel.
No questions, but I'll mention later on tonight in my board report. I just want to thank Parks and Recs and under your leadership, and quite frankly, under the previous leadership of Dr. Worsley as well. Parks and Recs were not something that I thought I would hear about a lot, and as COVID struck, it changed a lot of people's opinions of Parks and Recs, and what your department has been able to do to really turn on a dime to get new, innovative ways for our citizens to interact in our parks and make them accessible has been remarkable, and it's what I really think helped carry Chesterfield County as a quality of living community through the pandemic was the ability to visit the Parks and Rec. So I just really want to give your staff kudos for all that they've done. Thank you.
Mr. Luther, you've been a terrific ad for our county, and I can't thank you enough for your work. You're extremely detailed, and it shows that we've been out talking to everyone, and we haven't left any stone unturned. These updates are phenomenal, and what we're doing is we're providing services in the form of engagement and activities and recreation to everyone, and that's what we should be doing. So I am so pleased with this report, and again, nobody asked any questions because it was thorough, and so we appreciate that, and we've come to expect that from you, so thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you.
your
for
time
Thank you.
very much. Thank you all
service.
very much.